Welcome back to part two. Tough discussion here, and this might be hard for some of you, might not for others, but it's a discussion that we need to have. I've heard over the years, because you've been with me 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that you want to be a professional football player, basketball player, dancer, whatever it might be, your favorite sport, your favorite hobby. A lot of middle school students' goal is to be a professional in that category because they see these athletes with huge salaries on TV on the weekend. What are your chances of actually becoming a professional athlete? I'm not saying you can't. You can work hard. You can do what you need to do in your sport and your activity to become a professional. But we need to think about that a little bit more realistic now that you're in 8th grade. Sorry if I dashed some hopes, but it's something we really need to think about. What's your career going to be? A lot of you said a professional football player. Got some information here for you just to think about. This is from the NFL. The odds of making it in the NFL. Right now, there are over 1 million high school football players, 300,000 football seniors. There are 70,000 people who play college, NCAA's college football. Wait a minute. We started at 1 million. Where'd they all go? Percent of high school players that actually go to college, NCAA, and play football. 6.5%. What that means, let's say there's 100 of us playing football. 6.5% of those will actually make it to college. 6, maybe 7. Number of seniors playing football right here. Number of players scouted by the NFL each year is about 6,000. Number of those 6,000 that are invited to the combine, which is like the tryouts for the NFL. 350. Remember, we started off with just over 1 million football players, and we're down to 350 that actually try out for the NFL. Players drafted by the NFL a year, about 256. Rookies that make a team, about 300. Now, here's the interesting part. Percent of players that go from college to NFL. 1.6%. Number of players that reach 4 years in the NFL. About 150 of them. What was the minimum salary when this picture was taken in 2014? It was $420,000. That's a good amount of money. But if you think about the amount of taxes that are taken out, income taxes taken out, you only bring home about $250,000, which is a great amount of salary for 1 year. But if your average lifespan in the NFL is only 4 years, you are not going to be able to survive very long on that amount of money. You're going to have another job. So it says if you're lucky to be one of the 6.5% to become an NCAA football player, and one of the 1.5% of that group that make it to the NFL, you'll be lucky to get 3 years out of your career. You have to plan for a different career in the NFL. You might say, Mr. Crook, that's just mean. Why are you telling me I can't be a football player? I'm not. But we got to think realistically. I actually have a really good friend who was in the NFL. Scored touchdowns, was in there for several years, but had a major injury. Because of that major injury, he had to retire. Then he has a regular, different job right now to continue supporting his family. So when we're thinking about our future and career, don't think of sports as the professional amount. Still think of them as the hobby, the side job, the thing that you might do, and focus on the career that you might potentially have. So you have a backup plan, a thing that you can do after your professional season, or if you get injured, or if you retire from sports. Very, very few percent actually make it into the professional world. What I'd rather you think about is using your sport, your hobby, your thing that you do, as a way of getting scholarships to pay for college. That is even tough to do, but it's a little bit better. Here's some more information for you on that. This is from the NCAA. This is for the guys, and I'll show you the girls in just a minute here. High school participants in these sports, college participants, it goes down quite a bit. Overall percent from high school to the NCAA. So those that go from high school sports to college sports that are basketball players, 3.5%. So of 100 players. So let's say a high school team has 10 players on it. That's 10 teams in this region. Only 3.5% of those people, 3, maybe 4, go on to play at college level. Got a nice list there of other options and things. Football seems to be the popular one here. 7.3% of high school players actually go on to college. This is just broken down to the different college levels. If you really want to think about this, which one would have the best chances? Think of the highest percentage. Play ice hockey or lacrosse. Might not interest you, but those are some of the higher ones. For the women, high school participants are here. Those that participate in college, overall percent of high school students to the NCAA. Basketball, 4.1%. High school make it to college. Another popular one, volleyball, 3.9%. So let's say a varsity volleyball team keeps about 10 players. There are 10 teams in this region. Only 4 girls from those 10 teams are going to be able to play in college as a volleyball player. So the reason why this is a tough decision for guys, for girls, for whatever your hobby activity is, a lot of you have thought that, hey, I'm going to be a professional, whatever it might be. We need to think realistically and actually look at the numbers. These aren't numbers that I've made. This here is actually from the NCAA. You can go right to their website and find this information. It's called Probability of Competing Beyond High School. If you are one of those athletes that's considering it, then your coaches and your club and your different things that you're interested in will have ways for you to get college scholarships and to continue on. But always think about what's that career going to be. Because even if you're going to get a college scholarship, that means you got to have a career path. You can play sports for that college, but then you need to have studies and things that you want to focus on. And what's that career going to be? But if you're one of those that can get a scholarship to play a sport at a college, awesome, go for it. Can't wait to see your future in those different sports and activities. But we got to think realistically, what happens if you're going to get injured? What happens after that sporting season? So, tough decision, tough conversation. What if you don't want to do a sport in college? Can I still get a scholarship? Absolutely. I just grabbed one college here in Michigan. Every college has this on their internet website. Here's just one, Central Michigan. How much does it cost to go to Central Michigan in a year? About $12,000. If you're going to stay on their dorm and eat their food, it's about $10,000. So let's think about your grades. More students get scholarships because of their good grades than they do because of sports. Here is your grade point average. High school GPA. B's all the way up to A's. Okay. Your GPA. As you go up this scale, Central Michigan is willing to give you more money to come to their school. Not to play a sport, just to come to their school and do your studies and work there. This column is your SAT, which is a test you're taking in high school. Right now you're currently doing the PSAT, which is kind of the practice and get an idea of where you're at in this range. The ACT is another test. But the test and your GPA will tell you what percent of money they will give you for your scholarships just for your academics. Okay? And so Central starts off with this category here. They'll pay 20% of your tuition. Awesome bonus. You don't have to pay it. It's a free gift of money. All the way up to 75% of tuition for 4 years. So 75% of this is given to you if you are above a 3.8 to a 4.0 and have some pretty good test scores. Okay. But you might fall in one of the categories that pays 50% of your college tuition. And that is a huge bonus for you and your families as well. It is easier to get a college scholarship for your grades than it is for sports. So even if you're not an athlete, you can still get scholarships, and there are ways to pay for your college. Keep studying, do your homework, but more importantly, focus on that career that interests you. What is it going to take to get there? Can you do some sports? Sure. Can you not and do some scholarships through college? Absolutely. Can you do this through the military? Absolutely. So, another tough discussion here. You have to go to college. This is a tough conversation. This is one you want to have with your parents. Do you have to go to college? Well, let's think about a few things. Are there options? Yes. Maybe you want to go in the military because the military will help pay for your college, or the military will train you in whatever skill and job you want to do. Maybe it's a skilled trade training that you want to do. We're going to go to a facility, they're going to train you in that job so that you don't have to go to college. Maybe it's a 4-year university. Maybe it's a 2-year college, a community college. Maybe it's more that you got to do an activity to get a certificate in order to complete your program. Maybe the career that you want to have is just on-the-job training. There are lots of options. I want to make sure when you leave HMS that you have the pathway to the training, to the career that you need and that you want. I would hate to think that when you are finishing high school, that you are just thinking that you are done. You don't have to do anything else. There's probably going to be some more training. And that's what I want you to focus on. A better question to ask, not do I have to go to college, but what training do I need for the career that I would like to do? Some of you might go to college. Some of you might choose some other options. What's the training that you need for that career that you want to do? Tough discussions. Think this over with family and friends. You have to go to college. General? Sure. Yes, go for it. You have to? Maybe not. Maybe there's a different path, different fit that you want to go into. And there's a whole list there of options and things for you. And if you want to talk to the military recruiters in high school, they would love to show you the way that you can go through the military to get the different training that you need. There'll be some opportunities for skilled trades. There'll be some college representatives coming to the high school to talk to you about how to go through the college path. There's even some on-the-job and certificate programs that we'll be talking about when you get to high school. What I want you to do is jump on that path. What's the career that you're thinking of? And what's the best way to get there? I've got some videos I'm going to attach to this that your teacher might show you. Maybe those will be linked up to this video that you can click on later. Talking about non-traditional careers, some opportunities through the military, and some other things that you can do in your thoughts of what a career might look like. But think of the career that interests you the most. Sorry for the tough discussions today, but we got to have them. You got to think about what's your future career going to be. I'd love to talk to you more about these. I'll have some more activities and things for you to work on to help guide you through this pathway. We're just jumping on. If you've got some time that you want to stop by and talk to me about some different things. If I crushed your hopes and dreams, I'm sorry. We can work through that as well. And I'd love to talk to you more. As always, go forth and do great things.